Picture this. You're out on the water in South Florida. The sun's out, the music's blasting, coolers are open, beautiful blue skies. Life feels perfect. And then you see it and you hear the whop whop of those police red and blue lights flashing. Because here's the twist, just one drink can turn your perfect day into a BUI arrest, boating under the influence. Not a warning, not a ticket, a criminal case with jail and real life consequences. I'm attorney Adam Rossen, and this is BUI 102, the 3 things everyone forgets about boating under the influence in Florida. By the end of this video, you're going to know 3 important things. 1, why the 0.08 limit is not a shield on the water. 2, why you can look impaired on a boat even when you're not. And number 3, why BUI is a real criminal case and why testing decisions can still follow you. And finally, the simple mindset and script to use if you get stopped by the police. We know it by now, right? Don't talk yourself into legal trouble on a day that was supposed to be fun in the sun. Florida is the perfect storm for this. Our waterways are open year-round. Boating culture, this is our culture. It's amazing to go up and down the intercoastal and have a party on the water every single weekend out of the year. It's part of us Floridians. But Florida law doesn't treat it like a beach day. The BUI laws say that you can be charged if you're operating a vessel and either A, your normal faculties are impaired, or B, if you're at 0.08 or higher on a blood, breath, or urine test. Now, normal faculties part is where most people get blindsided. So let's get into the 3 biggest things that people forget. So now let's get into our first tip, this 0.08, the legal limit, okay? It's not a shield. Now, yes, the numbers matter, but it's not the only path to an arrest, okay? The law isn't just looking for a number, it's also looking for a cop's claims that your normal faculties are impaired. So what are your normal faculties, right? We're talking about balance, coordination, judgment, reaction time, right? All the things that you need to operate a vessel, a boat, safely on the water. But these things can get messy fast because, look, the boats are moving, but so is the water. It's completely different than when you're driving a car because at least as last time I checked, the road's not moving with you. You're just in the car driving along. So even just being on the boat and driving the boat in the water, it can make you look off even when you're sober. Which brings me to my second tip. Okay, tip 2, the water can make people look impaired. Now, this is the part that most people don't really respect until they see it happen to somebody else. We're talking heat, sun, wind, the glare, motion, dehydration. All of these things can change how you move and talk. Okay, you can be perfectly normal, having a perfectly normal day, and still look clumsy, slow, or confused. Again, especially if we're talking choppy water, but even if it's just a light, rocking back and forth. And of course, the officer, what are they going to defer to? They're going to defer that you're impaired. They're always going to be cautious. But cautious for these police officers means make an arrest, get you off of the waterways, and you know what? You can tell it to the judge later, right? That's their definition of caution, not giving you the benefit of the doubt or a break. Now, there's a Florida story that's been circulating online, and it makes this point just in a way that I can't. There's some recent posts and stories compiling details from a Florida Fish and Wildlife stop on our Loxahatchee River, talking about these officers conducting these seated sobriety tasks and then making an arrest.
Turn around for me. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. Boating under the influence, okay?
Dude, I've not had a single thing.
Well, you're outside. Okay.
And according to the story, the boater, he had no alcohol in his system. It was straight zeros. We call triple zeros, 0.000. And this incident became a lightning rod online for bigger debate about how these DUI or BUI investigations play out on the water. Look, I'm not going to argue here on the comments section, but I really want to make this point for mindset purposes and really just understanding. And so on the water, the environment can create bad optics. And once these cops start building their story, their narrative, everything you do gets filtered through the lens. Instead of them trying to figure out the truth, what they do is they look at this and go, well, do I have probable cause to make an arrest? And I know we've talked a bunch about probable cause in my other videos. We can probably even link it up here as well. But that's what they're looking for, not what the truth is. Just, do I have enough evidence to make an arrest? And you know what? You're off the water and you tell it to a judge. Hire a lawyer and deal with it. And that sucks. That's, think about it, right? There's real life consequences to people for getting an arrest, a mugshot, paying a lawyer. So I'm not a fan of that. I hate that, but unfortunately, that's the way it is. These stops are not a conversation back and forth. You can't treat it that way. Again, they're collecting evidence against you. They're trying to get you to talk too much and hear these little sound bites of, well, I had a couple White Claws earlier. Oh, I'm just tired, right? Oh, it was a combination of the extreme heat plus the 2 or 3 White Claws that I have, right? Even if it's all true, you just gave the prosecutors and the cops material to build their case against you. So remember this, when you're on the water, the problem isn't just alcohol. The problem is how quickly a situation turns into an investigation and how much you can accidentally feed into it. Now let's go to tip number 3. A BUI arrest is a criminal case, so what you say and do matters. And this one surprised a lot of people because they think that boating is less official than driving, and it's not. So the law in Florida treats BUI as a crime with penalties that can include fines and jail time, even on a first conviction, very similar to DUI. And of course, higher penalties if they're aggravating factors. We here in Florida, we also have the implied consent rules on the water. So if you're lawfully arrested for a BUI, the officers can request a breath, urine, or blood testing under the statutes. And if you refuse, well, there are additional consequences as well that can be tied to the prior refusal history, which could be license suspension, other additional crimes. This is not just some minor little thing. And that's where the mindset shift really comes into play, right? Whether you test or refuse, the night just doesn't end because you made one choice. So the real question is, are you staying calm? Are you avoiding giving away free evidence? Because this is not theoretical. This is real life. A recent Tampa Bay Times article described Florida boaters who say they were mistakenly arrested and jailed despite being sober. And it specifically notes how body camera footage of these BUI arrests has gone viral. There's lots of public debate, again, about how these cases are investigated and decided in real time. Now, look, my goal is not here to litigate the whole internet, right? My goal is to say this clearly. You don't want your case decided by vibes. You want it decided by facts, law, and proof. And so you need to protect yourself with just having a very simple script. And if you take nothing else from this video, just look, be calm, be respectful. Less is more. You're not going to win the arguments on the side of the dock. And you need to understand that when there's a lot of motion going on in the ocean, it's going to make you look drunk. So what do? Again, polite and still. Don't argue, don't perform, don't try to win. Okay. Second, answer only what you have to answer, which most of the time is not much. Okay. Where are you coming from? How much have you had? You don't have to answer those questions. Okay. Really, all you have to do is just answer your name and give ID. That's really all you have to do. Okay. And third, when you're realizing this is turning into an investigation, just one sentence and stop. Just say, officer, I don't wish to answer any questions. I want to speak to my attorney. Period. The end. That's a full sentence. Actually, it reminds me of, what my parents would tell me as a kid. No period is a complete sentence, right? Hard for us to remember when you have police officers with the lights and the sirens and you're trying to do whatever you can that you don't, leave this great boat day in handcuffs. But remember, no period is a complete sentence, okay? Be respectful without being chatty. You can be cooperative without being careless. And you don't have to help build the case against yourself. So let's just do a quick little recap, okay? Number 1, 0.08 isn't the only issue. Normal faculties is a big part of the law. 2, the water, the motion in the ocean can make sober people look impaired, and that can snowball into an arrest fast. And 3, BUI is criminal, and testing decisions do have real-life consequences. So for your sake and your friend's sake, keep the script. The best protection is your attitude. Stay calm, respectful, say less, ask for your lawyer. And if you love being on the water, stay smart, hydrate, eat real food, don't underestimate the sun and the motion, and don't assume that I feel fine is a legal defense, because it's not. And in the next video, I'm going to break down the unseen consequences of boating under the influence. Your rights are your only shield, so you better use them. And we'll see you in the next video.